The galaxy had long forgotten humanity. To the elder races, they were nothing more than a bedtime story. A whispered legend told to frighten children, or to warn ambitious empires about what happens when arrogance goes too far. The tale always began the same way. There was once a species from a small blue world, a species that fought wars not for conquest but for survival itself. A species so stubborn, so relentless that even extinction could not claim them. But no one believed it anymore. There were no ruins, no records, no evidence that such a race had ever walked among the stars. Only fading echoes and forgotten archives dismissed as myth. For centuries, the Galactic Council reigned unchallenged. Dozens of species united under its banner, its fleets unrivaled, its laws enforced across thousands of worlds. The Council saw itself as the height of civilization, nothing beyond their reach, nothing beyond their control, until the Drek Dominion rose. The Drek were no myth. They were fire and steel given form, a war machine that spread from system to system, burning empires to ash. Their fleet struck like lightning. Their armies crushed resistance in weeks. Entire civilizations vanished beneath their march. And for the first time in 1,000 years, the Council was afraid. Their proud fleets shattered, their alliances fractured. No one could stand against the Drek. No one dared, but fate has a way of choosing its moment. It happened on the eve of Xanthera Prime's fall, a jewel world of the Council, its skies already burning with Drek bombardment. The Dominion's warlords prepared to deliver their final blow. The Council prepared for another humiliating retreat. And then, the impossible happened. The stars themselves seemed to rip apart. A rift opened high above the battlefield as though the void of space had been torn open by some unseen hand, and through it, they came. At first, the Council's sensors couldn't comprehend what they were seeing. The ships were nothing like theirs. Not sleek like the Alvari's silver wings, not vast and organic like the Zori Hive's living vessels. These were different. They were monsters of metal, angular, brutal, battle-scarred, forged not for display, but for war. Their hulls bore no insignia. Their weapons crackled with a power the galaxy had not witnessed in millennia. And as the galaxy watched in stunned silence, a transmission cut across every channel. A voice. Deep. Cold. Resolute. Speaking, in a language thought long lost. We are human, and we have returned. The Drek Dominion did not tremble. When the humans spoke their return into the stars, the warlords only laughed. To them, humanity was nothing more than a ghost story, a legend told by cowards. The idea that these scarred, angular ships belonged to the so-called children of Earth? Absurd. So they did what the Drek always did. They fired first. From the Dominion's fleet came a storm of plasma lances. Great pillars of molten energy cut across the void, each one powerful enough to reduce a Council dreadnought to slag. Xanthera Prime's skies lit with fire as the blasts slammed into the lead human vessel. The Council's commanders turned away, unable to watch. No ship could survive such an assault. But the human ship did not break. The flames cleared, and it still stood. Its blackened armor glowed red from the impact, but it had not fallen. It simply endured. The galaxy gasped. For the first time in living memory, the Drek's unstoppable weapons had failed. And then, humanity answered, not with elegant beams of light, not with sophisticated alien energy, but with raw destruction. From the human flagship, vast cannons roared, kinetic rounds, slabs of iron and tungsten the size of buildings, hurled across the void at unimaginable speed. They struck like gods of war descending upon the battlefield. The first Drek battleship shattered instantly. The second split in half, its carcass tumbling into Xanthera's atmosphere in a burning funeral. A third tried to maneuver, too slow, the round carved through its shields, its armor, its heart. One by one, the Dominion's mighty warships were torn apart. The Council fleets watching from the edges of the battle could only stare. Their most advanced weapons had never torn through shields so easily. Their most brutal strategies had never been so precise. The humans moved like predators. Silent, coordinated, cold, every volley was perfect. Every maneuver drilled into perfection long before the galaxy even remembered their name. In mere hours, the impossible happened. The unstoppable Drek, who had swallowed empire after empire without pause, were obliterated. Their warlords silenced, their fleets reduced to drifting husks. And as the last Drek cruiser exploded in silence, humanity's voice echoed across the comms once more. Your age of conquest ends now. When the battle was over, the galaxy held its breath. Xanthera Prime's skies were silent now. No more fire, no more Drek bombardment. Only wreckage drifting like tombstones across the void. The Council fleets, stunned and shaken, barely dared to move. Their commanders whispered the impossible. Humans. Real? Alive. And then the voice returned. A transmission, carried across every frequency, every channel. No encryption, no codes, no diplomacy, just words. We are human. You erased our history. You whispered of our extinction. You told your children we were gone. You were wrong. The words spread like wildfire. Across the Council worlds, billions listened in silence. Some felt awe, others dread. For if the humans could annihilate the Dominion's fleet in a single strike, what else could they do? The Council chambers erupted in chaos. Senators shouted, generals argued. Half demanded immediate contact. If humanity could defeat the Drek, then perhaps they could save the galaxy. The other half warned, a power that strong should never be trusted. At the center of it all, Chancellor Vexar sat in silence. His reptilian eyes narrowed, his claws tapping the council desk. He remembered the old myths, the stories his ancestors whispered in fear. The humans were not conquerors. They were something worse. Survivors. He turned to his war council. What we saw above Xanthera Prime was not a fleet. It was a warning. But not all agreed. Admiral Veros, the council's most seasoned commander, leaned forward. His voice was calm, but sharp as a blade. No, Chancellor. It was not a warning. It was a message. The Drek believed themselves unstoppable, and humanity reminded them that no empire, no matter how mighty, is beyond defeat. The chamber fell silent, for both were true. Meanwhile, on the frontier worlds, whispers began to grow. Merchants, refugees, soldiers. They all asked the same question. Where had the humans been all this time? Why had they returned now? Some claimed Earth, the fabled cradle of humanity, still existed, hidden away beyond forgotten star maps. Others swore the humans had never truly left, only watched, waiting for the galaxy to forget them. But one truth spread faster than all the rumors combined. Humanity had not just returned, they had chosen their moment, and the galaxy was no longer theirs to command. The council chambers had never been so divided. What humanity had done above Xanthera Prime was undeniable. They had shattered the Dominion's fleet in hours, something the council had failed to do in decades. But the meaning of that victory, that was where unity crumbled. Senators of the core world stood in panic, their jeweled robes shimmering as they demanded an immediate alliance. The humans are our only hope, they cried. With them, the Drek can be driven back into the abyss. Others, their voices sharp with fear, spat back. Fools, you saw what they did. If they can tear apart the Dominion so easily, what do you think they could do to us? We would be slaves to humanity before we were ever partners. The chamber descended into chaos. At the heart of it, Chancellor Vexar rose to speak. His scales gleamed beneath the chamber lights, his voice a low, commanding hiss. Listen well. Humanity is not salvation. Humanity is power unchained. You call them myth. But I remember the warnings my ancestors carved into stone. When humanity fights, they do not stop. They burn and they burn until nothing remains. That is not an ally. That is annihilation wearing flesh. The hall fell quiet at his words, But then Admiral Veros stepped forward, a veteran of countless wars, his uniform still marked with scars from Dominion battles. He did not shout. He did not rage. His voice carried calm steel. "Chancellor, with respect, you are wrong." The chamber stirred. No one defied the Chancellor so openly. Varos continued, his gaze sweeping across the chamber. "Yes, the humans are dangerous. Yes, they are relentless. But they did not come for us. They came for the Drek. They chose their enemy carefully. If they wished the Council destroyed, it would already be done. We would not be standing here debating. We would be ash." The senators murmured, fear and hope colliding in their voices. Varos pressed on. "We face extinction. The Dominion has already swallowed hundreds of worlds. And yet, in a single day, humanity accomplished what we never could. If that power can be directed against the Dominion, then perhaps there is a future for us all." The Chancellor's eyes narrowed, his tail flicking with irritation. "You speak of alliance. I speak of survival. Mark my words, Admiral, the humans will demand a price, and when they do, we may wish the Dominion had finished us first." The Council stood divided, the debate unresolved. But beyond the chambers, on the frontier worlds, where the Dominion's armies still marched, whispers spread like sparks on dry grass. Whispers of ships of iron, of soldiers without fear, of humanity. And those whispers carried with them a question no one dared answer aloud. Would the humans save the galaxy or claim it for themselves? The galaxy had not seen war like this in millennia. When humanity moved, it was not with hesitation. It was not with the endless debates of the Council, nor the arrogant boasts of the Dominion. It was with purpose. System by system, they advanced. The Fia Dominion, once unstoppable, found itself hunted. Their warlords gathered fleets confident that sheer numbers would overwhelm the newcomers. But numbers meant nothing to humanity. Where the Drek swarmed in chaotic fury, the humans struck with precision. First came the scouts, silent, invisible, slipping past defenses to map every weakness. Then came the fleets, iron leviathans that dropped from FTL like executioners, their cannons roaring before the enemy could even form ranks. And finally came the ground troops, armored soldiers who fought not like warriors of honor, but like machines built for survival. The Dominions. Fortresses fell one after another, their fleets shattered, their armies scattered. But what chilled the galaxy most was not humanity's power. It was their discipline. There was no joy in their conquest, no songs of victory, no banners raised high, only silence. When a world was freed from Dominion control, the humans did not stay to bask in glory. They secured the skies, they left supplies, they moved on. Always forward, always hunting. The Council's observers assigned to study humanity's campaign sent back reports that spread fear across every capital. One read simply, "They fight like extinction is still chasing them." On the battlefield, Dominion soldiers began to whisper of the humans as demons of iron. They said the humans did not tire, did not break, did not fear death. For every warrior that fell, another rose to take their place. Entire Dominion legions surrendered without a fight. Better to kneel than to be erased. And yet, in all their victories, humanity spoke little. Only once did a transmission reach both Council and Dominion ears alike. From a human commander, his voice sharp and unyielding. "We do not fight for empire. We do not fight for conquest. We fight because we remember. And we will never forget again." The galaxy listened in silence. For those words carried a truth more terrifying than any fleet. Humanity had not returned for power. They had returned for vengeance. The galaxy could not ignore the question forever. Where had humanity been, and why had they returned now? The Council's scholars dug through ancient archives, desperate for answers. Buried beneath centuries of forgotten records, they uncovered fragments, Scattered maps, corrupted transmissions, half-erased accounts, all pointed to one place, Earth, the cradle of humanity, the world of legend, the place where it all began. But Earth was gone from every modern star chart, wiped clean as if someone had deliberately erased its coordinates from galactic memory. The discovery shook the council. Who had erased Earth? Why? Whispers spread across the stars. Some claimed Earth had been destroyed in a cataclysm, its people scattered to the void. Others insisted it had been hidden, shielded from the galaxy by technologies long since lost. The most dangerous theory of all came from Admiral Veros himself. In a private session with the Chancellor, he spoke quietly, but his words cut like a blade. What if humanity erased themselves? What if they wanted to be forgotten? Until now. Chancellor Vexar's eyes narrowed. You mean they chose this moment? That they've been waiting in the shadows all this time? Veros only nodded. Look at how they fight. Every strike is precise, deliberate. They have not just survived, they have prepared. The Chancellor's tail lashed against the chamber floor. To him, this was confirmation of his greatest fear. Humanity was not simply a returning people. They were a force shaped by silence, sharpened by exile. Meanwhile, among the frontier, rumors spread faster than truth. Merchants swore they'd seen human ships bearing a single insignia, a blue-green world on a black field. Refugees told stories of soldiers who spoke of going home soon. And then came the most chilling report of all. A Dominion warlord, captured alive, claimed that in their deepest raids, his fleets had stumbled upon a system forbidden even to the Dominion. A system ringed with human satellites and defenses, older than living memory. He spat the word like a curse. Earth. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy knew the name, and with it came a terrifying realization. Humanity had not simply returned. They had returned from somewhere. Somewhere, the galaxy had tried to forget. The galaxy had always wondered if humanity was so powerful. Why had they vanished? The answer came not from the Council, nor from Dominion spies, but from the humans themselves. For the first time since their return, a human envoy appeared before the Council. No army, no fleet. Just one ship, black and scarred, lowering into the core capital's docking bay. From it stepped a single figure. A human commander, clad in battered armor. His face was lined not with age, but with endurance. Eyes cold, unyielding, he spoke simply. You want to know where we have been, you want to know what it cost us, fine. You will hear it. The chamber fell silent as his voice echoed. Centuries ago, when the galaxy was young, you cast us out. You feared us, you erased us from your histories, and perhaps you were right to fear. The Council stirred uneasily. The human's eyes hardened. For when the Great Plague came, when the void itself tried to erase life, we were left alone. No fleets came to our aid. No Council ships braved the storms. Humanity faced extinction, alone. He paused. The silence was heavy. We burned our skies to kill the plague. We tore down cities to save villages. We sacrificed billions so that billions more might live. Every inch of survival was paid in blood. Gasps rippled through the chamber. The scale of it, the brutality, was beyond imagining. The human's voice dropped lower, colder. We learned then what no other species dares to accept. Survival has a price, and we paid it. Again and again, until only those who would never break remained. Admiral Veros, listening from the chamber floor, whispered almost to himself, "That's why they fight like this, because they have always fought like this." The human commander continued, "You ask why we return now? Because the Dominion threatens not just us, but all of you. We endured silence. We endured death. We endured exile. And now we will endure no longer." Chancellor Vexar leaned forward, his voice sharp. "And when the Dominion falls, what then? Will you turn your weapons on us? On the galaxy?" The human's gaze met his, steady as stone. "We did not survive the end of our world just to build another empire. We fight so that no one will ever suffer what we endured. We do not seek conquest. But if you try to chain us again, you will remember why you chose to forget." The chamber was silent, for in that moment, the council understood the truth. Humanity's power did not come from their weapons, it came from their scars. The galaxy trembled on the edge of decision. The council had heard the truth. The Dominion still raged across the stars. And humanity, scarred, relentless, stood ready to finish the fight. But fear ran deep. Some worlds begged for alliance, others whispered of betrayal, and the Dominion saw their chance. They gathered every ship, every soldier, every warlord under a single banner. A fleet so vast it blotted out suns, its shadows swallowing entire systems. Their leader, the Drek Overlord, broadcast a message across the stars. "Humanity, you are no myth. You are prey, and we will feast on your ashes." The stage was set. The final battle. It came at Veros Rift, a broken stretch of space where gravity tore itself apart. A place no sane fleet would ever fight. But here, survival itself would be decided. The Dominion poured in, tens of thousands of ships, living tides of fire. And then, the humans arrived, not in equal number, not even close. Their fleet was smaller, leaner, but it moved as one, like a blade drawn across the stars. The council watched from afar, torn between terror and awe, for what they saw defied belief. Human warships dove into the rift, using gravity itself as a weapon. Enemy armadas collided in the chaos, ripped apart by black holes and collapsing stars. On the ground, human soldiers fought with the same unyielding fury. Where Dominion legions charged in endless waves, the humans stood like walls of iron, unmoving, unbreaking. And in the heart of the storm, the human flagship cut straight toward the Overlord's throne ship. The battle lasted hours, days. No one truly knew. But when the rift fell silent at last, only wreckage remained. Dominion fleets burned. Their warlords lay dead. The Overlord's ship, torn open, drifted lifeless into the abyss. The Dominion was finished. Silence swept across the galaxy. Humanity had not just won. They had ended a war that had raged for centuries. The council convened once more, expecting demands, concessions, tribute. But the humans sent only a single transmission. "The war is over. Rebuild your worlds. Bury your dead. Learn from this. We return to the shadows now, but remember, survival is never free. Do not forget again." And then, as swiftly as they had come, the humans vanished. Their fleets withdrew. Their soldiers disappeared beyond forgotten stars. Only their legend remained, a legend carved in fire and silence, a reminder that in the darkest hour, when empires fall and galaxies tremble, humanity endures. Always.